How does a silly anime about two friends going on a road trip and subsequently getting arrested for reckless driving predict the future of humanity? I would have never expected one of the best anime of the year to be about subway trains, but here we are. So how did a 3-minute CGI short from YouTube evolve into one of the most engaging releases of the year? The Milky subway takes place in a futuristic sci-fi-esque space setting. The titles Milky Highway and Milky Subway are plays on the word Milky Way, the name of our galaxy. That already gives the whole thing a playful, cosmic feeling before you even get into the plot itself. It sounds light, almost goofy, but at the same time, it is set in a world that feels advanced, crowded, and technologically strange. And that contrast is part of what makes it interesting. While the way the show speculates about the future is fascinating, the reason I actually fell in love with it is the character, chemistry, and the animation style. The Milky Highway was a 3D CGI animated short posted on YouTube in 2022. The project evolved into a sequel, The Milky Subway, in 2025, a 12-episode series of shorts, 3 to 4 minute episodes posted on YouTube. A theatrical version of the series with more material was subsequently released in February, and we're going to look at how those few minutes managed to convey more than most full-length series. The plot involves Chiharu and Makima going on a road trip, recklessly driving, and then getting caught speeding. The rest of the series is subsequently about them serving out their sentence with community service after getting arrested. They are assigned to clean up an old train with a bunch of other inmates. However, the train malfunctions and the parts, traveling out of control. That simple setup is what makes the series feel weirdly memorable. It starts with something almost mundane, like two friends behaving irresponsibly, and then it rapidly turns into a bizarre sci-fi situation involving punishment, technology, and chaos. One thing that really shines about this anime is that the animation is really stunning and very beautiful. One of the most notable things about this is that it's a fully 3D CGI anime. The art style and animation looks very good and is beautifully done, so everything about the visuals in this work looks amazing and excellent. So the animation looks stellar and compelling, and makes the series really stand out. This is the first 3D CGI anime I've ever seen. Before that, the closest thing to a 3D CGI anime that I've seen would have been Miraculous Ladybug and Claude Lyoko, but those were an anime. What makes the visuals stand out is not just that they are 3D, but that they are used confidently. The characters move in a way that feels smooth and expressive, and the environments have a polished sense of depth that gives the whole thing a unique atmosphere. A lot of CGI animation can look stiff or awkward when it's not handled well, but this series clearly has a strong visual identity. It does not feel like an anime that is just using CGI because it is easier. It feels like the production is taking advantage of the medium to create something distinctive. That alone makes it worth paying attention to. Another great thing about this anime is that the action is choreographed to the music. So the way the action and animation are timed to match the music makes the scene more engaging and helps the action and events stand out and become more dynamic. And so it creates an engrossing experience, and both the music and the action in the scenes enhance each other. That is one of the strongest things about the series, because it gives even small moments a sense of momentum. When characters move, argue, panic, or get thrown into chaos, the music helps sell the energy of the scene. The result is that the whole thing feels more alive. It is not just visuals setting on top of audio. It feels like the rhythm of the music and the movement of the animation were designed together. That is one of those details that can make a short anime feel much more special than its one time would suggest. The characters have unique and dynamic personalities, and very different contrasting types of characters play off each other. The characters have very strong and engaging personalities that play off each other in strong and distinct ways, and so the characters' contrasting types create a compelling story. Different characters have strong manifestations of different types of personalities or archetype, which makes the characters strong and extreme manifestations of different kinds of personality and character stereotypes. For example, two of the characters represent a Japanese biker gang/delinquent subculture. Another two characters are slackers or stoners, and the two main characters are gairus. And these contrasting subcultures and archetypes play off each other. That variety makes the cast feel colorful, even in a very short series. The characters are not just different in a basic surface-level way, they feel like they are drawn from different social worlds and different behavioral styles, and then forced into the same situation. That creates friction, comedy, and energy. An interesting feature of the cyborgs is that they have American names. Kurt Fitzgerald Kramer is an American name because Fitzgerald is an Irish-English surname, while Kramer is a German-Dutch surname. You would not see that combination of names in a European country, just like you wouldn't see the name Shanyun Park Kuroshima in any East Asian country. The characters in this series are a mix of aliens, genetically enhanced superhumans, regular humans, cyborgs, robots, and wholly computerized AI. That mix of character types gives the world a broad and somewhat surreal feeling. It suggests a future where the line between biological life and manufactured life has become very blurry. In that sense, even though the series is playful and sometimes silly, its setting has a real sci-fi imagination behind it. The world does not just have one type of being living in it. It has multiple layers of existence coexisting at once, and that is the sort of thing that helps a short series feel much larger than its runtime. The anime has more naturalistic diction, which is a unique feature about the work. The characters often talk over each other and either speak in phrases or run on sentences a lot of the time. So, given the characters' more naturalistic diction and lack of emotion in their deliveries is a really cool thing this anime does. The characters often talk unexpressively in a more calm, withdrawn, normal way. While the characters talking over each other is a cool thing this work does, it's also something I don't want to see repeated too often, as I don't think others should necessarily emulate it. It's more important for people to understand what's going on most of the time in most works. Though I will give anime praise for doing this. That is an important point because a style choice can be interesting without necessarily being universally ideal. The overlapping dialogue helps make the characters feel more casual and less scripted, which fits the laid-back and slightly chaotic tone of the work. At the same time, because this is a short series with a lot of visual and narrative information packed into a small runtime, clarity still matters. So while the naturalistic dialogue is distinctive and gives the series personality, it can also make it harder to follow if overused in other different works. In other words, it works as a flavor choice, but when others make different works, it should not come at the expense of comprehension. The series is dubbed into English and is simultaneously being released in 11 languages. That is another sign that this is not just a tiny throwaway project. Even though the episodes are short, the release strategy suggests that there is some real ambition behind it. It feels like the kind of series that is meant to be watched by a wide audience, not just a narrow niche. And that broader reach matters because the show's ideas about technology, the future, and strange social structures become more interesting when you imagine them being seen across different cultures and languages. One flaw in the series is why was Akane so freaked out when Makina shocked Kanata, when she had already seen him get shocked before when they were arrested and brought into questioning. If she had already seen him get shocked before and subsequently have been perfectly fine, then she shouldn't have had that panicked reaction when he was subsequently shocked later on in the subway car. Contradicting yourself or creating a retcon that doesn't make sense is just sloppy writing. The series' English dub was made by Transperfect Media in Cape Town, South Africa. So if Milky Subway gets a proper anime release with 12 23-minute episodes, they're probably not going to swap out the studio and will stick with this one. That would be interesting because then we might be getting more full-core anime seasons or series dubbed in South Africa. The answer to the question about the future of humanity is that the anime features genetically augmented superhumans, sentient AI superintelligences, and humans fitted with machine cyborg bodies. In the future, genetically engineered and enhanced humans will appear and play an increasing role in future societies. And AI will continue to advance and become sentient and self-aware, and play increasingly prominent and encompassing roles in future societies. And that's a way this anime predicts the future of humanity. What makes this prediction interesting is it is fitted through a goofy, colorful, fast-moving comedy, sci-fi short about reckless driving and malfunctioning trains. That makes the future feel less like an abstract theory and more like a lived-in experiment. In other words, the series is showing a future in which all these categories of being are already mixed together and treated as normal. So in the end, the Milky Highway and the Milky Subway are not just visually impressive shorts with fun characters and a catchy sci-fi setting. They are also a compact little vision of a future where humans, machines, and artificial minds all share the same world. And that is why, beneath the silly premise of the two friends getting arrested for reckless driving, this anime can be read as a prediction of where humanity might be headed. It is beautifully animated, it is strange, it is energetic, and it is full of ideas that are much bigger than its runtime. And that is exactly what makes it worth talking about.